We have to create that floodplain again. And it's gonna be work, and it's gonna, I understand the homeowners, they don't wanna have to foot the bill. I wouldn't want to. So if we can come up with the equipment and the people to do it, what we need is someone who's an engineer.
Right.
Who will give us plans on how to do it properly, so that when it's done, the county doesn't come back and say, well, you did it wrong. Well, we went by his plan, or her plans. So, and then pull the permits, and why should they have to pay for permits? It's ridiculous. So, up where I live, they were so concerned about redoing the streets, they neglected P8. It's ridiculous. So now the water runs on the other side of P8, and it runs all the way to where it stops, and it has no place else to go.
Do you know when the last time that the county actually reviewed our town and reviewed the areas and felt something was a problem prior to 2012?
Well, I know, road maintenance, they go out and inspect the road.
They don't look at the side of the road, just the 3 or 4 foot egress of dirt next to the road?
No, we're looking at everything for street signs from shoulders to shoulders. So, as it's bad, when your shoulders, the ditch is filling up, we're going out and talking, and something needs to happen. I know we've talked to a couple of fences that have blocked that in the past. 3 or 4, there's a wow that's been built down there.
But prior to 2012, you did talk. Prior to 2012, you did officially notify every resident that it was a hazard area, right?
As far as road maintenance, no.
Thank you.
Me and a couple of my neighbors did call over the years and tell the county that people were deliberately filling that flood area. And I don't think the county ever followed through with making sure that those properties got cleared, the 3 or 4 properties that caused this problem. And I do think that way the county does have some responsibility, because if they had followed through with our complaints, and those few houses that were causing the problem may have been corrected, and the other properties would not then have the silt buildup. So I do feel the county does have some responsibility here for being negligent in their job, because I know that I called at least 2 or 3 times, and I know Jim Adams called at least a couple times. We saw that this was going to happen eventually, not like that it did, but we saw that it was going to happen eventually.
Also, with the rains coming, you said that you are, road maintenance.
Yes.
Just going up or down Avenue O, all you have to do is go to the top, look on both sides of the valley. I don't know if you realize, but Lake Los Angeles is a fishbowl. We are built like this. If you look on the sides of each of those roads, you can see where the water is going to go naturally. And if you try to stop it, it's going to cause chaos. There are water lines where when we get snow up in the mountains, it melts and it flows freely. They tried to block off 150th. The water went where it wanted to go, not where you tried to send it. And that is what the water does out here.
I'm not sure where you're talking, because you got 2 blue line streams that run through here.
I'm not talking about just, if you look,
So yes, you can look from the top to the bottom.
yes, but there is not just one water line. There are numerous water lines that meet. Not to mention, you guys are planning on joining the 14, the 15, and the 58. You want to build us up, most of this fishbowl is a wash.
Still can answer your question, I'm not part of it. Nobody knows.
And we put our CSD to you guys 4 years ago. It's our standard of living. It's the way we want to live. We choose to live 25 miles from Palmdale, 25 miles from Lancaster. Why has our CSD not been passed?
CSD is out of our jurisdiction. We could check with our regional planning
find out what the status is. We don't have any information.
Yeah, we can, our office can check on that and find out. That was before my time, so I don't know, anything about it, but I can check with it.
And there is another thing, who gave Palmdale and Lancaster the right to split us in half? Lancaster on that side has to have a Lancaster zip code. Palmdale luckily has their own zip code.
Nobody uses Lakeville Lane anymore.
But it's true, it's just post offices, it's just a Lancaster post office and a Palmdale post office. The town itself is not split in half or own or have anything.
No, because our zip code
City of
comes up as
Palmdale
Lake Los
or
Angeles.
Or Lancaster, my license actually says I live in Lake LA. You don't have to put Palmdale or Lancaster on anything.
Our money goes to Lancaster and Palmdale.
No, why not?
Yeah, I actually did on that. I've
So
seen
my
it.
driver's license says Lake Los
But
Angeles.
when I went.
You're not living in Lancaster or
When I
Palmdale.
went to the DEP to do it for this year, they came up. Okay, so then I couldn't raise my hands up for residents. I'm just saying that I can go in and I'll try to get you.
Go ahead, speak.
In the interest of fairness, effectively, in this situation, since some of the residents may have contributed to the problem, as well as the county's broken water main, wouldn't it be nice if you kind of went to Antonovich, maybe proceed over, let Mr. Antonovich know that the people out here, whether they contributed to the problem or not, the county has some responsibility. And say that, okay, if we need a permit or something, we're not gonna have to pay for it, we have fees. If you have people willing to do the work, why are the homeowners even saddled with this? And then that's typically happens, the county comes back in later with some faceless, nameless bureaucrat and says, you did it all wrong, here's your fine. So I think, in the interest of fairness, split the liability and say, okay, waive the fees for permits, give them a spec on how it should be done and could be done. And let the people that are willing to do it, do it. Because the other thing is, CEOs growing out there, who takes care of that? We pay taxes. About the cost of the actual permit. What do we do? Pay the CEOs off?
Yeah, on the vector control part, I actually follow up just about monthly with them, and they're coming out and checking them.
Even now, I don't say that Frontier Circus does not ever dry up, it's always continuing to walk.
It's what you say.
Since 2004, they only found one time eating mosquitoes in a spray. Your sandbags that you're talking about, if you ever need sandbags, you have to go to the fire department.
You can get all you want for free.
Sand them bags.
I want to go ahead and add something. Everybody who goes ahead and lives here in Lake Los Angeles understands that we have a lot of problems. A lot of problems that have been ignored for a lot of years. But this is our immediate problem right now. I'm telling you guys, I want to get to as many of the problems as you guys want to go and talk about. We want to talk about the water meters. We want to talk about lights. We want to go and talk about our streets. But right now, what we're talking about is we're talking about helping our neighbors avert something that could be catastrophic. Everybody knows what goes on here during the flood. These are the concessions we have to get from these guys right now. Come the end of the flood season, then we'll go ahead and talk about bringing action, all of us. Not just one individual or two, but all of us going ahead and dealing with what we're going to have to do. Just like we do with the other issues. And the first thing we've got to go ahead and do is all learn how to vote out here in the process. But we have this one problem. Let's work this problem first.
We do have one resident that was fine, she's the only resident I've spoke to, I've spoken to almost every resident but maybe 4 houses, that's just an answer. She was issued this letter penalty and it totals up to over quite a bit of money, $7,000. No, for what? I'm adding it up in my head, it's like at least $1,500. And it wasn't clear, it said building code for the check, window fence for the check, and a referral maybe made to the attorney's office for criminal prosecution. Now, she took this letter and went down to Francisco Dominguez's office, correct, Francisco?
Yeah, and I spoke to Hugo.
Yes,
So I told Hugo,
okay.
you were kind enough to list me all the fines that I'm gonna do. Okay, Hugo, fair enough. philosophy that I created by having my fence where it's at. One, I keep my property clean, I fence it because people tend to throw trash in when there's a property that has a fence with a lot of space. Okay, fine, give me the list. Then Hugo kindly tells me, he's the engineer, because I had to go on the website when Hugo was there. Follow what your neighbor is doing. I go, Hugo, me and you don't know each other personally, so I'm not a follower. You want me to follow something? Give me the specs. Give me the sizes and measurements. He starts working on his computer and starts saying, give me the dimension. Okay, print me what you're showing me now. He says, I can't give you that because it's not accurate. You're gonna have to get it, what you call it, surveyor. Pay for a surveyor. Hugo, remember, you sent me this letter telling me that I'm doing something, I'm violating something. So give me my guidelines.
So what are your guidelines, what are your guidelines?
Based on what?
Where are they?
Now, mind you, the lady right there in the middle just established one thing. She just said, the mapping of this place was done by the company that got hired to do the mapping. So technically, it wasn't acknowledged by the county. So I'm not in the flood zone. So why do I have a letter?
No, let me address that. The fence, the back fence is in a flood hazard area, drainage course that the water needs to flow, and currently that particular fence in the backyard is blocking the flow. There's nowhere for the water to go other than kick it out towards the T8. And that's our concern, is to try to clear the channel so the water does stay at least in the designated area.
The problem is they cannot tell them if it goes from the end, where the dirt starts, where the road ends, how far in, or from the middle of the road, how far in. That's what she's trying to say.
We can give you the dimensions from the center of the road to the edge of the flood hazard area. We can give you those.
But she was in the
How that hasn't been done.
She went there and she
I got everybody to come up to work, and then on top of this,
property deed to start.
but they're
billing fee for $134, that tells me that the county's making a lot of money.
Well, we're not trying to make a lot of money. But what we're trying to do is to simply get the fence moved out of the flood hazard area. We do have some old track maps with dimensions, but giving a person dimensions doesn't actually translate to what is out there. So what I'm saying is that if I gave her a dimension of 100 feet, okay, somebody's gonna have to go out there and measure that 100 feet. Right?
So why did you
So
speak our concern?
if I move my fence, okay, and nobody measures, so you guys come and check again, and my fence is in the 1 foot away from the wrong place, I'm still gonna get fined.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. As long as we can see that the fence is out of the flood hazard area, we can work with the fine situation. But that fence has to get moved.
So the guidelines that he gave her, they fined her. Those guidelines he was reading from is all she wants to know. What are they? How do
looked it up on
I?
Google
We're
Maps.
all willing to work together to move our neighbors' fences. We just need to know the proper measurements so that you guys do not come back and say, well,
It's in the wrong place.
it's wrong.
You know what, come in and see me, and I will make sure that you get the information.
What do you guys want?
Yeah.
Show us.
All we need is one engineer.
There's a report in the bill.
See, unfortunately, what Hugo was trying to say is that the information is actually, if you look in the assessor's map, it's telling you the distance. He's just not telling you the exact distance because it's paper. You would need to hire essentially a surveyor to actually locate that line for your property line.
And a surveyor is almost as bad as no.
Shouldn't your deed actually have, if you bought something in a flood zone, your deed should actually specify that you do have one, and it should state how much it is from the center of the road.
Yes.
So you should be able to look at your deed, and if you say, if it does not, that's something you need to bring to their attention. If you didn't buy one in the flood channel, record your deed.
Right, so if my deed says I'm not in a flood zone, then I don't have to do anything?
moving my fence.
No, but it should be specified in your deed.
That's all I'm making a point.
I can't hear her.
I'm sorry, I said, I'm gonna have to look into your property specifically, because my understanding is some of the, map FEMA flood might be incorrect, and that's one of the things that our watershed management division is working on. They're working with, FEMA to correct that map as far as what is.
Okay, but this was
actually
after the
implemented and
flooding
not
happened. This is in 2012, after the flood.
Correct, well, that's what I'm saying, I need to verify that information, I can't just say,
Okay, then shouldn't that have been verified before you guys went out and started finding people and telling people they had to do all this work?
well, no, based on our information, it's laid out that it's a flood hazard area, whatever is in that part, we don't know, we don't have any control of that, we do not see what it is.
But then how are they supposed to know they're in a flood zone?
Right, how am I supposed to know that I'm in a flood zone? Nobody notified me.
You have to talk to your,
Okay, but if you guys went door to door and tell people, nobody told me.
She just contradicted herself.
Not in your deed.
She just contradicted herself,
You gotta go to your title report. It's not in your deed.
It actually contradicted herself.
Okay, if it's not in
Sorry.
your
One at a time, please, I can't hear anybody.
Everybody be quiet!
Quiet, one at a time.
Here. It should always be put in your deed.
It should.
No matter where you go. I studied insurance, and these are things that I do have to learn. So it should always be put in your deed. If it's not included in your deed, then that is something you should take up with your real estate agent. But this is a fault case. Both property and county is both liable. You've got two different parties fighting against each other, where the residents are saying the county is liable, and the county's saying you're liable. You know what, you're both at fault, and okay, no offense, please don't listen. You guys go to big cities, okay? If this happened in Bel Air, we would fix it right away. There'd be no issues. This town doesn't have money to fix it. So you've got people that are willing to take off work to fix this for you. All they're asking is permits, no fines, and just, hey, give me the coordinates. That is not a lot to ask from a community. I'm sure you guys deal with tougher situations in Palmdale and Lancaster. That is still not a lot from a town that's willing to come together. And that's where you guys, this is what tonight's about, sitting down and coming together about this.
We understand, you know, what the neighborhood is saying, and we do understand that. Unfortunately, as we work for Public Works, and we're tight as far as the funds that we can use for private property.
So then
We're
where
not
did
gonna
it
go
go?
above your head.
Where did it
Well,
go to
that's
work that
why
out?
we actually have supervisors here to assist us. It is really, there's nothing.
No one's asking for funds, they're asking for waivers, fees, no one's asking for funds.
I understand that, but the problem is, maybe it's more on the requirements as far as.
It's not hard to pull permits, and it's really not that hard to pull permits, because I've dealt with Lauren Hickling, and he's pulled permits for me before when I wanted to have rallies in the park, and that wasn't hard for him to do. In a day, I have the permits. But instead, you've got county attacking these people, and yes, some people where they see in their deed, they should be responsible if they see in their deed. Those who do not know should not be fully 100% held accountable. If you guys wanna go after anybody, go after their real estate, but then tell them about it.
Well, it's not really that we're going after people,
But
it's
you
we're
are.
trying to get
There's
this
people,
area cleaned up.
I understand.
You know, and we're not talking
But-
about, you want to find out where to see.
but here's the thing, you are going after people. Do you know why we live out here? Yes, we live out here to be away from the city, but we also live out here because California sucks. You can't afford to live in it, and everybody out here can afford to live here and still put food on their table. That is why we live out here. People can have their livestock out here so they don't have to go to the store and pay $3.95 for eggs. That is why we live here. So you're attacking these people with $500 fines, and you want them to pay for a survey that's $1,000. Where are they supposed to come up with it? So they're not asking you to pay for the entire thing. They're just saying, give us the plans, give us the permits, we'll do it. What community have you ever heard say that?
Simply going door to door.
I'm sorry, I don't
Okay.
There's other people though.
Where's this woman at?
Who do they need to talk to? Give them the
Okay, so let them write letters, but your word also helps. Being here tonight, if they write letters to your college and they say, hey, will you waive our fees, waive the permit fees, and just tell us the dimensions, we'll do the work. If you three were to stand up and say, look, we went out and we spoke to this community. This is all they want from us, and that's all. More than likely, they're going to get waived, but we need your help with that too. We're not asking you to go and do it, we're asking for your help. Well, we work closely with, Conservative's office to see, and we'll be going back most likely
So if these
So if these Christine, can you come up here? I mean, wait, are you able to make, who's able to make the decision on whether or not these people should get the raise to the permit?
We can't hear you.
I said I was waiting for a return phone call from Dell, who's our land use deputy, who was supposed to be here tonight. I don't know why he wasn't able to be here.
You're in a good place. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody here so we know who you are now?
Hello, I'm Christine Borzaga, and I am a deputy for Supervisor Antonovich. I worked for her for 29 years in a different capacity, working directly with constituents who are in the office, and now I have this new role. Well, this, that happened 4 years ago. I was not aware of. I didn't work directly with this issue to me.
I've been dealing with the county since you were around before.
So what we do to rectify this situation, well, me and you go back and find out if we can get the permit, the fees waived on the permit. Yeah, I'm taking notes, and I'm gonna talk to our accountant office tomorrow to find out if it's possible, if we're allowed to waive these, yeah.
Okay, the question I have is, I was researching on the internet before I got here. Some other, county had the same problem where the road maintenance put the K-rail and then left it for the sediment to keep rising and rising for years. But we had the same solution. They said it was the residents' problem, but when they had the county come out for a meeting, the mitigation was, gee, can we get some special insurance so that if we ruin everybody's yard, then you can bring in all the big crews and fix the road? So that was one of the things that they offered, was a low-cost insurance for all those residents. The second solution they came up with is they did purchase that part of the land from all those residents so that the county could, that area, the city or the little, whatever you wanna call it, could maintain out those roads, because that is a special flood road, and we know it's gonna happen again.
I like that idea, but some of these residents are not gonna want to give up that property.
So I live on PA, I'm back in PA, it's my property, and I always thought that we had dedicated to you, that it had been approved. You're saying you guys never adopted that little flood zone, but yet you still recognize it. So in those senses, this help us get some insurance so that when we do have the next flood, that you'll be able to get all the big rigs and fix it, or be able to block off the road. And then we do want you to fix that little outlet that you've had blocked for even before the storm, because we've only got one way out for our residents, and that's terrible in case of a disaster. So help us fix it.
Is there any way to just purchase the land and you could own these land, just to get an easement? A county easement, which would then give you the ability to clear that. Is that feasible, to dedicate it as an easement?
Yeah, but then it changes everybody's, dynamics with their, how much they pay for the land. Now they don't have much land.
Yeah, that gets
Yeah.
Exactly, I don't wanna do that up.
Quiet, please.
For road maintenance and things like that, over, it would have to be brought up to a standard. We would go back and find out what that standard is. to be able to take something like that over.
do
The reason it was never accepted is because it wasn't built to a standard. The developer went in, created this future easement, future roads. Right, so it was never developed, so the road maintenance doesn't have the ability to come in and do that until it's brought up to a standard.